Make the Difference. I'm Wanda Walker, and today I am interviewing Kelly Camp. And Kelly has a vision for an event on the square that is going to impact the city. And it's called Break Every Chain, Troup County Recovery Revival.
Yes.
Yay. Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now tell me, yeah, you're welcome. Tell me about Break Every Chain, Troup County Recovery Revival.
It is, it's a God-inspired vision, really, to get everybody in this community involved with the problems that are going on with substance abuse. And the plan is to get everybody with the same vision in the same place at the same time and let God show out and bring a solution to the problem around here. So.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I know you've been very excited.
Yes.
And you have been telling everybody about this event.
Yes, and I can't contain it.
Yeah. And everybody's getting excited with you, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Okay, now tell me what inspired this event.
I had been told about a treatment center aftercare program that was interested in coming to LaGrange, and I just started praying, well, God, we need that, so help them come here. And then one night, like 2.5 weeks ago, it's only been 2.5 weeks, wow.
Yeah.
2.5 weeks ago, I was praying, and God just answered me clearly, well, help them. I was like, well, how do I help them? I don't have any money, and I know they need funds. And so I just had an idea to start getting a couple people together to give testimonies. And I thought at first that it would be at several churches, but then it dawned on me that it needed to take place in the heart of the community, and it's just went viral from there.
Yes.
So it's a God plan.
All right, and so what do you hope happens with this event?
Well, ultimately, I hope that we pull together as a community to solve the problem and maybe eventually have a program here for women, especially, but women and men. But at this event, if one person gets delivered, then God's work's been done. That's huge. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yes.
Really excited.
I am too. And tell me why you think that it's so important to have an aftercare program. And let's describe what an aftercare program is. All right, so an aftercare program is after someone has gone through a rehab program, but then it follows them for maybe 6 to 12 months while they work their way out of addiction and also back into the community. So tell me why you think that that's so important.
Because I've been to 4 inpatient treatment centers, and 2 of them were absolutely wonderful. But me and a lot of other people that I know, when you leave that program and it's like a culture shock. If you're not transitioned back into society, and if you're kept in a sheltered environment for that amount of time, 6, 12 months, whatever it is, and you try to transition your life back to the way it was, well, your life was a mess when you went in there, so it's kind of hard without that aftercare, without somebody guiding you through the steps to get back to a place where you know how to maintain a sober lifestyle. Because when life hits you in the face, the first thing you want to do is run or cover it up or solve it yourself. You know?
Yes.
So it is important.
Okay, tell us about your story, Kelly.
I've been an addict for 17 years, and it was a horrible addiction. Like it dominated every thought, every motive, every decision, every moment, and it was almost impossible for me to break free from it. So to get on the other side of something like that only come through God's power, only through the Holy Spirit, only through His deliverance. And now that I'm on the other side of it and I am free, I cannot speak it out enough. I have to help somebody. I have to get them out of it. It's like an overwhelming desire. So.
Yes. Yeah. And so you have asked other people. You're going to tell your story at the event, and the event's going to be on Saturday, November 14th, and the time is
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's going to be on the square. There will be many people who give their testimonies of how they were in addiction, and how they have overcome.
Yes.
Will you tell us some of the stories of the people without maybe saying who it is or who you've asked?
Well, I think God's led me to a wide variety of people because it needs to be understood that addiction comes in a lot of different forms.
Yes.
So we've gathered 7 people, possibly 8 people that are going to share their stories on not just substance abuse, but trafficking, running from Russian mafia, being addicted to prostitution, being homosexual, all
Yes.
kinds of different addictions that the Lord has delivered them from. And I think that's going to paint the picture that God's wanting us to see. He wants you to see that no matter what it is, He has the power to deliver you from it. So it's going to be so awesome. I cannot wait. I don't even know their story, their whole story, but I know that God has definitely delivered them, and I can't wait to hear.
Yes. So Kelly, what was it that made the light go on for you? How do you feel that you were able to break the chain of addiction?
I had to get to my lowest point. I really did. And I didn't just hit that lowest point and jump right up out of it. It took some time. But, and I'll tell about this in my testimony, but there was an episode with my daughter on the interstate last year. I had gotten really sick from using, I was an IV user, so I got infection in my bloodstream. And I don't know if I was clinically declared dead, but I know that my spirit left my body. And when I got out of the car and got my daughter, she was 8 months old, out of the car, my spirit left my body and left my baby to fend for herself on the side of the interstate. And when I thought that I was praying for 5 minutes, praying, God, don't take me from my kids just yet. Please, please don't take me yet. And when I woke up, it had been 3 days. I had been in a coma. I didn't know where my daughter was. Anything could have happened to her, and that was the moment that I realized, oh my God, you have put your kids in danger. You have made poor choices that could have endangered their well-being, and that was like when the light went off. But I still didn't get out of it. Then I quit doing the pills, but then I started drinking real heavily, and I went to 2 treatment centers after that and left on my own on the last one and come home and started drinking again. So I ended up giving up temporary guardianship of my baby, and I got further away from getting my older 2 kids home, and I ended up in jail for 90 days, and this time God was like, that's it. I'm not going to quit chasing you. I'm sending you 37 boats in an airplane. Get on one, you know. So I just started being really sensitive to what He was telling me, and I chose to walk away.
Yes.
And it's been so much better, so much better.
Yes. And so now you think of yourself differently than you were thinking of yourself before, right?
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Now, like, I've dealt with feelings of unworthiness and shame and stuff like that before because of the life that I was living. But now that I'm letting God clean me up and I'm not relying on myself to do it, He's doing an awesome job at it.
Yes.
And like things that I didn't pay attention to before are so significant to me now. And I feel like I have a purpose, and I've never felt like that before. I've even said to my family several times, I can't imagine getting up every day and doing the same thing every day. How boring. But it's not boring at all.
Yeah.
It is so exciting. Like, this is good. I like life this way.
Yeah. All right. What do you think the power will be in people sharing their testimony? How do you think that that's going to impact people in the community?
Because, first of all, Revelation tells us that we overcome by the words of our testimony and the blood of the Lamb. And it's powerful because, and I know the people that we've assembled to do it are willing to stand up and speak right to the problem and let people know that you're not going through something that we hadn't been there, if not worse. You know? And I know that there's not much people can tell me they're going through that I don't know what it feels like. And to get up and speak it out might reach just the right person thinking, well, if they don't understand what I'm going through, you know, this is too hard. It's too hard to get over the hump. It's too hard to give it up. You don't know what this feels like. For people to stand up in front of everybody in this town and say, I do know what that feels like.
Yes.
And I know a man that can change your life.
Yes.
It's going to be powerful.
It is.
Yes.
And you know, I really think when we give our testimony, we hear that, and it seems like it confirms it within us. And and that strengthens us, doesn't it?
Your own voice, something about your own voice gets into your spirit.
Yes, and I also think, like, with the microphone on the square.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like when you say it over the microphone, it's so much stronger and so much more powerful, and so it just builds something in you, and the Spirit of the Lord rises up in you and strengthens you.
Yes.
So I think that part is going to really be awesome.
It is.
And we're going to have a Breaking the Chain ceremony. Tell us about that.
We have as many kids as we can find. Like, I've asked Mr. Jimmy Pruitt at Reformers Unanimous. I've asked him and a leader at another Celebrate Recovery to help get the youth groups involved in making a bunch of paper chains, because there needs to be enough for everybody to be able to grab hold to it and have a hand in tearing it apart.
Yes.
It's going to symbolize freedom for this community.
Yeah. And one of the things that I was thinking about this morning is that those chains are going to be made out of paper. And so they are easily ripped.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when we understand that Jesus has already broken all those chains.
Yes.
And we just have to come into agreement with him
Yes.
that they are broken.
Yes.
And so, and when we know that, those chains can fall off of us with very little effort.
That's what I want everybody that's there to understand and get their mind around that day, that the chains, they're already broken. We already have victory, but it'll reaffirm that in their mind.
And I think the city really declaring that, and the center of the city is going to be powerful.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, we've talked before, and Henry Wright from Thomaston, he has a ministry, Pleasant Valley Church, and he has studied the roots of addiction, why people have addictions, and he has found that it is because they have a need in them to be loved. They don't feel loved. And so, you know, the only way we can feel totally loved is if we realize how much God loves us, and it's unconditional love.
Yes.
And it's not based on our performance. It's just, it's based on what Jesus did on the cross, and that he has made us righteous, and we are lovable and accepted, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Right. I love that.
Yeah, because he's declared it over us, and he's made us that way.
Yes.
And so there was nothing that we could do to make ourselves that way, and because he has done it, then there's nothing we can do that can undo it.
Right. It's done. It's finished.
It's right. That's right.
To tell us that.
Yeah. All right. Now, you found lots of support for the event.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I have.
Yeah. Tell me some of the people who've supported you and what they have done so far.
This community is, I have met no resistance anywhere I've been. It'll probably take all day to tell you all the like verbal support and excitement and stuff, but the people that have actually donated things, like supporting this event, well, jail ministries, for one, is a big deal, because they reach to the people like me that need to hear that God loves you no matter what you're sitting here for. My family, they've been very supportive. The Wardlaws, my spiritual parents, they are very supportive.
They are.
Let's see. I called PC Screen Printing, and Pam over there, who has quite a testimony herself, she's excited about this. So I asked her if she would help us with 500 flyers. Well, she decided she was going to help with like 3,000 flyers and posters. So that's been a huge blessing. I can't wait to see what they look like. Mud Creek donated 4 banners. My mother-in-law, Gayla Miller, she's doing T-shirts for 50 people.
And where can people get the T-shirts?
They're going to be on the square that
Okay,
day. We're going to
good.
make sure that all the speakers and testimonies and people in the event have a shirt, and whatever's left over, the first people to get there, they can have them.
Yes.
There's no charge for them. Let's see. Ken Reagan donated porta potties.
Yes.
I'm trying to work on construction paper. I may have somebody that's willing to donate that, but I'm not going to say that yet because it's still in the process. But Tabitha at Troup County News has offered to do an article on it to kind of get the word out there if they don't see a flyer. There's been lots of support from Reformers Unanimous and Celebrate Recovery. The Sheriff's Department has been very supportive. I've asked Mr. James Woodruff to speak, and he said he was delighted to speak.
Right.
It's everybody. The
court system.
Yeah, the whole court system. Troup County Drug Court, I talked with Miss Jeanette Little, and she said that she would offer credits to her students and do anything that they could. I mean, like, everybody is just so supportive. And Leanne Murphy at Drug Court, she was like, bring me a flyer by here. I'll get everybody I can involved. Counseling services. She's already emailing flyers. Miss Kim Neese, like, I got a call last night that it was announced in an AA group. So it's exciting. And I've met J93 has it on their community calendar to start airing it now. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out because there's been a lot of support for this. I have met no resistance anywhere.
Yes, everywhere you've gone.
Yes.
Yeah, to the city. And
Alan Sloggenhat from City of LaGrange, I think I said that right. He was willing, because I don't know anything about like electrical systems and stuff, but he was willing to donate his time and his skills and himself to this event and his equipment.
Right.
And Downtown Development is letting us use a screen. Alyssa Williams has a projector. It's all coming together so beautifully. It really is.
Yes, so at the event, you'll have testimonies. We'll have the Breaking the Chains ceremony. You'll have a band, and the band is 808. Mm-hmm. And tell me about that band, and tell me why you chose them.
808 is, I chose them because they are called 808 Ministries, and their motto is 1 or 1 million. They will play with the same dedication and worship for one person as they will for 1 million people. And Carrie Bush, my friend that's in that worship team, she said that they use their music to minister the gospel, and they are pro-recovery, and that's what we're doing. So God definitely led me to 808 Ministries to do the music because they're spirit-led. There's 7 of them. They're spirit-led. They play, what God puts on their heart right then, and they're sensitive to the Spirit. And it's important that they're willing to play the same for one person, or if the square is so packed that you can't even walk up to it. So that's going to be a big deal. Yeah. I love them. I can't wait for everybody to hear them.
Yeah, and you have the music plan. Tell me what you are going to try and do or accomplish with the music that'll be playing.
The first song that's going to play is not, it's not worship music, but it is a song by Evanescence called Bring Me to Life. Uh-huh. And I think with the slideshow that's going to play with it, it speaks right to where people are in their addiction when they're at that place where your mind and your heart want to do better, but your body's not letting you do better. That song's going to scream out exactly where they're at.
Yes.
And the music's going to get better after that. The next song that's going to be is Break Every Chain is the theme song. So it's going to play throughout the ceremony. And then after that, I trust 808 to let God lead them with the worship music.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
It is. Okay, and I know that it was important for you to have recovery in the name of the event. Mm-hmm. So it's Break Every Chain, Troup County Recovery Revival.
Yes.
Now, why was it important to have recovery in the name of the event?
Because so much around us is lost. And I know that people want to help, and a lot of people here have a heart to help, but maybe they're at a standstill or in a limbo with how to do it. And God sees that person that's caught up in addiction. He sees them how they really are, and He sees them as recovered. And I wanted to call it a recovery revival, because revival means to bring back to life, to
Yes.
rise up, to stir up. So people need to get on with their recovery and let God do it, and He's wanting to. And this is His plan right now, to stir up everybody's zeal in this and get something going to help those people, because everybody wants to, but nobody really knows how. So
Yes.
we're going to come up with a how that day.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember you telling me that recovery would speak to everyone who had an addiction.
Yes.
That they would recognize
It
that.
catches their eye.
Yeah, and it will draw them. And so the people that you want to come to this event are people who are in addiction, people who have recovered from addiction,
Yes.
people who have helped people come out
Yes.
of addiction.
All of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, all of us. And like you had told me before, we all have family members that have been affected by addiction, or
Yes.
if we don't have an addiction, we've had family members who were. So it's touched the whole community.
Right. It's touched every family in one way or another. I'm sure of it. So
Yeah.
I wanted to use that word because it does grab their attention. It grabs everybody's attention, because so many people are affected by it, especially here where the problem is so huge and the solution is not that much. I mean, there's drug court, and drug court is great. It's a great option.
Yes.
And we need a little bit more.
And
like, 'cause
DUI
there's
court,
DUI
and mental health
court.
court, and all those different
Yes.
things, which we are very fortunate to have.
Yes.
But we still need more.
Yeah, there
We
needs
still-
to be an inpatient option.
There does. And also there needs to be the long-term care.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So that is very good. All right, I know you want to recognize some people at this event who have helped people in addiction. So tell me about some of the people that you want to recognize at that event.
I want to recognize the Troup County Drug Courts and DUI Court, because they put so much of their time and effort into trying to help people. And you can tell by talking to them that it's a passion. It's a passion. It's not a job.
Right.
Jail ministries, I want them to be recognized, because you guys and the Wardlaws, y'all come every week with a smile on your face, and bring a positive word and the truth. And that's important to the ladies and the men down there, to hear that truth, because there's negative around you so much. So I really want jail ministries to be recognized. I want everybody that has a hand in trying to solve this problem, the counseling services of LaGrange,
Yes.
the Emmaus House,
Yes.
Harmony House, Reformers Unanimous, Celebrate Recovery. I'm hoping, I would really like to see Hope Harbor recognized, because
Yes.
I am a graduate of Hope Harbor, and they made a huge, huge difference in my life. The staff there, Dee and Stan Clark, and I hope they can come. I really do. I would love to see them there. And Heard County DA's office, I know that's kind of off the wall, but I want them recognized, because a friend of mine is the ADA there, and she's a huge part of my testimony. Like, she showed no judgment toward me when I was in trouble in that county, and she's like a second mama to me now. Like,
Yeah.
I talk to her all the time, and I want everybody recognized, everybody that put forth any effort into this event. And even if they didn't, if they pour into people's lives because they want to see them healed and whole, I want to recognize them that day. It's important. It's a big deal.
Yes, it is. It is. What advice do you have for people who may still be struggling in addiction?
This is a truth and love moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop putting forth so much effort into faking it, lying to your family, trying to cover up what you've done, trying to cover up your mistakes, telling lies. Stop. If you put half of that effort into really seeking out what the Lord is calling you to do and wanting you to do and what He has for you, it's going to be so much better, and the turnaround is going to come. And we spend so much time just trying to cover up our dirty work, so much effort into making everybody believe that we're sober, we're not doing this, lying to our families, tearing our families apart. If we just took half of that effort and put it into really trying to do the right thing, that's when God can work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get to a point of surrender is my advice, yeah.
Right. Wow. And sometimes that's really hard for people, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very hard
Yeah.
because it becomes a way of life and something that, just like for me, I started using drugs when I was 13 years old. I never knew another way. I never had any other coping skills. It was my go-to guy.
Yes.
But I got a much better go-to guy now.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Jesus, haven't
Yes.
you? Now, tell me what advice you would give to families with somebody in addiction.
Families, stay in prayer. Stay in prayer because Jesus wants to see them whole just like they do. He sees them the way that their family sees them. He sees the same potential they see and so much more, you know. So stay in prayer and believe that God's going to heal them. He already has, that you just have to believe that. Claim it.
Yes.
Declare it, decree it. It's done.
Yes. So, Kelly, what is it that you feel like God has for you now?
I don't know. That is very exciting. Like, I know it's good. I know
Yes.
He works all things out for the good. I really feel like He's calling me to be in the addiction ministry, and that's why He's let me overcome so many things, or He's brought me through so many things. But there's been a lot of near-death experiences, possibly even death experiences, car wrecks, jail. Yeah, I've seen it all, done it all, and He's allowed me to come through all that. So I really feel like now that I've been delivered from the fire, that His word to me is snatch them out of the fire. So
Yes.
I plan to start taking classes in substance abuse and becoming a substance abuse counselor because I have the experience. Now if I combine that with education, I think He can do a lot with that.
I think He can too.
Yeah.
Now, you got some encouraging words at a church that you attended recently.
Yes.
Tell me what those encouraging words were.
Wow. I was at a church for the second time and I had been feeling a little bit discouraged like a week into this. It was the enemy speaking to me. Well, you're going to fail at this. You don't know how to plan an event. You've been a junkie your whole life. You're going to mess this whole thing up. How do you even know that God told you to do this? And nobody's going to listen to you. Well, I knew that that was not from God, but I still let it discourage me a little bit because I am out of my element planning an event. I don't know, but God's showing me how. Well, I went to church the next morning and they started playing the song Break Every Chain, and it was so powerful. Well, the music kind of stopped and I was already like in tears. I'm praying in tongues. I've never done that. And there was a man at the back of the church that said, "This says the Lord, that I have called you by name and you are mine. I have redeemed you. I have set you apart for this purpose. Look to me, the author and finisher of your faith, and I will not let you fail, that I give you the power to do this." And then he was gone, and he was a new person at the church. He had a beginner's packet, so.
Yes, God sent him
Yes.
to encourage you.
Yes.
And God has sent us
Yes.
to encourage you today. And those words that were spoken to Kelly, the Lord is speaking to you today.
Yes.
Thank you for watching You Make the Difference, because you truly do.